High on a secluded mountain, two monks lived peacefully in a humble hut. One was a senior monk, wise and serene, and the other a junior monk, full of curiosity and learning. Together, they spent their days meditating and living a simple life. When hunger struck, they would walk to a nearby village to collect alms. One day, the monks decided to embark on a pilgrimage to visit holy sites and deepen their spiritual practice. They prepared for their journey and set off on foot, as transportation in those days was limited. A few days into their journey, the region was struck by a fierce storm. Heavy rain and powerful winds tore through the area, and their little hut on the mountain could not withstand the onslaught. The roof was blown away, and most of the hut was destroyed, leaving only a small corner intact. 15 days later, the monks returned from their pilgrimage, eager to resume their quiet lives. When they reached the site of their home, they were greeted by the sight of destruction. The young monk stood in shock, staring at the ruins of their once cozy shelter. Anger and sadness overwhelmed him, and he began to curse God. "Why, Lord?" he cried out. "What wrong have we done to deserve this? Our hut was our only refuge, and now it is gone. You are so cruel. Where will we sleep? How will we meditate? This is unjust." He turned to his senior companion, expecting him to share in his despair. But to his astonishment, the elder monk was standing with folded hands, looking at the remains of their hut with gratitude. "Thank you, Lord," the senior monk said softly. "You are so kind and merciful." Confused and frustrated, the young monk could not hold back his questions. "How can you be thankful?" he demanded. "Our home is destroyed, and we have nothing left. What are you thinking?" The senior monk smiled gently and replied, "My friend, I am indeed grateful. Look closely. Yes, our hut has been destroyed, but a small corner remains standing. God spared that part for us, even in such a terrible storm. Isn't that something to be thankful for?" The young monk was silent, unsure how to respond. The senior monk continued, his voice calm and wise. "Earlier, we had a roof over our heads, but now we have the entire open sky. At night, we can sleep under the stars, meditating as we gaze at the moon. Our connection with nature will deepen, and even our rest will turn into a form of spiritual practice." He paused, then added with a smile, "We used to rely on the hut for shelter, but now God has given us an opportunity to rebuild it with our own hands. The physical labor will be a gift. It will strengthen our bodies and bring us closer to the simplicity of life. Isn't that also a blessing?" The young monk began to see the situation differently, but still looked uncertain. The senior monk placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder and said, "Remember, my friend, happiness does not depend on external circumstances. If you truly want to be happy, learn to accept and appreciate whatever life brings you." The young monk listened closely as the elder continued. "Life is full of ups and downs. Sometimes we experience joy, and sometimes sorrow. We cannot control the events around us, but we can control how we respond to them. Happiness is a choice. It lies not in changing the world, but in changing our perspective." He gestured to the remains of the hut. "Take this very moment as an example. The same storm struck us both, yet I see it as a chance to grow, while you see it as a reason to despair. The same event can bring joy or sorrow. It all depends on how you choose to view it." The young monk began to reflect on these words, and a sense of calm started to replace his frustration. He realized that the senior monk was right. While the storm had destroyed their hut, it had also presented new opportunities for growth and gratitude. The senior monk continued, "There are two ways to find happiness. Either everything in life goes exactly as you wish, a near impossibility, or you learn to embrace and be thankful for whatever comes your way. The first is beyond our control, but the second is entirely within our reach." The young monk nodded slowly, beginning to understand. The elder's words carried a profound truth. Happiness is not about avoiding difficulties, but about finding grace and gratitude in every situation. From that day on, the young monk adopted a new outlook on life. He began to practice gratitude, even in challenging times, and learned to see every experience as an opportunity for growth. The destruction of their hut, once a source of anguish, became a lesson in resilience and perspective. Through this story, we are reminded of a powerful truth. Life will always bring its share of storms, unexpected challenges, losses, and disappointments. We cannot control these external events, but we can choose how to respond. By cultivating gratitude and acceptance, we can find happiness even in the face of adversity. So, the next time life takes an unexpected turn, remember the wise senior monk's words. Be thankful for what remains, and embrace every situation as a chance to grow. When we shift our perspective, even the most difficult moments can become sources of strength and joy.